You're watching KTVH Daybreak.
Welcome back, everyone. February is American Heart Month, an effort to raise awareness about heart health and battle cardiovascular disease. According to the Centers for Disease Control, half of all Americans have at least one of the top 3 risk factors for heart disease. That includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking. Other risk factors include obesity, diabetes, and physical inactivity, and unhealthy eating. And to help us learn more about embracing a heart-healthy lifestyle, we have registered dietitian Jennifer Colgrove from St. Peter's Health. Jennifer, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So to start off, tell us, how important is diet when it comes to heart health, especially when we hear, family history and smoking and all those other factors play in there as well?
Absolutely. So diet is one of the risk factors, or a poor diet is one of the risk factors for increasing risk for heart disease. So people can make big changes in some of their lipid numbers and their risk for cardiovascular disease by what foods they choose.
And so what is some of the advice that you give as a dietitian to people about what they need to change with their diet?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is what foods they can add into their diet, and so one of those is foods that are high in fiber. Fiber will actually bind cholesterol and help take it out of your system. So foods that are high in fiber are fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, and whole grains. And so those are the foods we want people to eat more of every day.
And so encouraging that. What about, is there things that as Americans especially, we have some high sugar diets and things like that? What do we need to cut back on? Right.
So when it comes to cardiovascular disease, the biggest things to cut back on are some of the unhealthy fats, such as the saturated and trans fats. Those are things in some of our high fat processed meats and high fat dairy foods, and then also some of our processed foods like donuts and some of our pastries and cookies that we will buy from the store. So those have a lot of the things in there that we shouldn't be having and will increase our risk for heart disease.
Is it okay to have those things, hopefully in moderation?
Absolutely, yes. So we always say 90-10 rule. So 90% of the time, if you're eating really healthy foods and eating a lot of those foods that we talked about earlier, and 10% of the time you have some treats, it's not going to really have much of an impact that way.
Any advice for kind of sticking to healthy eating? Maybe you can start for a little while. I know I've done this before, where you get on a good kick, but then after a while you fall back into old habits.
Yeah. I always just tell people to just try to set their goals for the day. And so an easy thing that we always say is if half your plate is fruits and vegetables, whatever meal that is, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, sometimes you may feel like, oh, okay, I'm having some pizza for lunch, but if the other half of the plate is your salad and your fruit slices and things like that, you're still going to be getting that fiber in your diet. So it's an easier way to think of than always trying to eat perfectly, which none of us really do.
Yeah, definitely get that. Well, good advice. Hopefully that encourages some people to make some positive lifestyle choices out there with their diet and help out their heart at the same time.
Yes.
All right, Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.